Good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this special edition of Broken Not Shattered. It is the 23rd of July, 2023. What a great day to be alive. This is your host, Ike, on Broken Not Shattered. But guess what? Today I'm not by myself. I've got my boy in the house, OBG.
Yes. That's my intro.
OBG.
That's my intro. This is
OBG.
OBG. If you
Obi,
are
guess
against
what, man?
OBG, just know that God be my side.
Yes, so you're your side. Oluwa day your
Oluwa dey
side.
my side.
Obi, man, how's your week been,
Oh my
man?
goodness.
How's your week?
Well, it's been awesome. It, there were some economic changes around us, but then it's fine. We're moving on.
That's all right then. As long as you're
Yeah,
moving
we're
on,
moving.
Obi, that's what I've learned
Yeah,
in
we're
life.
moving
As
on
long as
greatly.
first things first, make sure you
Mm-hmm.
are whole, you are well, you're
Yeah.
breathing, your mind is
Mm-hmm.
at peace, yeah, and then create an environment, an enabling environment that will always pull in the right desires of your heart, according to God's
Sure.
perfect will. Anything that is negative energy, Obi, I ask you today to move it out of the way, because trust me, whether it's a person, a thing, or a place, just get rid of it. Because once that negative energy keeps on consuming your space, man, you can't function. You know, I was out this week with my daughter Chichi. Today this weekend we're celebrating her. She's doing her graduation party, and she's going back to University of North Carolina. So you can see where I am,
Wow. Wow.
wearing my jersey as a very
Yep.
proud dad. Hey, Chichi, welcome.
Hey, I see that.
This is
I see that.
what's that? I think go Tar Heels, go Tar Heels, go Tar Heels, go Tar Heels, go. So we're going to North Carolina this year, where she'll be studying, I think, biometrics engineering. So we're super happy. I'm proud of her. She's
Okay.
done very well, extremely great, smart, intelligent, uh, scholarships all the way. You know, she's just a phenomenal child. And while I was out there with her, we spent about 3 days there, from Wednesday to Friday. We came back late last night. It was a good time of dad and daughter bonding. You know, spoke about a lot of very important things that meant to her and meant to me, and we're able to, see other family friends who their kids were older going there. Made some new friends also. But I was just walking around the university campus, and I remembered myself back in the day as a young student in
Exactly.
adults,
Exactly what was on my mind.
Middlesex University Business School in London. And I was like, wow, time has really gone by. How, one time this was us, and not thinking about any other problems of life, just, trying to
Yes.
become all that you want to become. But I realized
Sure.
that our positions in life change, that the career that you started off with might not be the way you're ending up with, right?
Sure.
And so if
Sure.
the career you started off with is not where you end up with, then there's a story to tell. That life itself
Definitely.
is a journey and not a destination.
Sure.
You get that? If if
Big
if
time.
if the career you started off with, like when I went to school, my first degree was in international history. Then I went back and did a master's degree in human resource management from the renowned Middlesex University Business School in London, right? Then came back here, did another program in America here with Cornell. But then I was all pushed towards human resources. But gradually things began to change, and I found myself in a different direction totally. And where I am
Yeah.
now, the career that I have now, what I'm doing now, was never in the pipeline.
Hmm.
And it hit me that all these kids that are coming into school excited about what their majors will be and how they're going to graduate in 4 years might spend 4 years in university, right? Going through all this training and all this thing that they are calling their courses or their majors, but might end up in a different path in life.
I
Some
agree
of them
with
might
you.
take a total different turn. And they might start out as engineers and end up being social workers, or being an
Yeah. Yeah.
activist. Or you start off as a medical doctor and then end up being a politician, right? Or
Yeah.
you started by say a music major, but all of a sudden you end up being an accountant,
Yeah.
or you end up being a pastor or a preacher, or a singer or a dancer. I don't know, but it
Mm-hmm.
just hit me on that campus that life itself is a journey. Life
Mm.
itself is a journey. And for you to continue in that journey, you have to make sure that whatever happens, you're still breathing.
Mm.
Whatever happens, you're still breathing. When life knocks you down, man, there's nowhere else to go but up. When
Mm.
your enemies and your frenemies, there's some friends that are like
You have
enemies.
in front of me. Yes.
Your enemies and your frenemies come after you, right?
Those
And they
that
want
can
to
stab you from the back.
they want to stab you from the back like
Yeah.
Brutus, right? All you can do is take the hits, but keep on
Mm.
moving, right?
Mm.
When they say things about you, whether it's true or false, right?
Mm.
Like my pastor would say, you can take a licking and keep on ticking, right? It's
Mm.
it's just move on forward. Just keep on moving on
Mm.
forward. There is someone
Sure.
listening to us today, Obi, who is going through a very tough time, a very
I agree
challenging.
with you.
They think it's
Definitely.
all over, right? They're about to press delete and check out of planet Earth because they've lost hope entirely. I am
Mm.
here to
Mm.
give you good news this afternoon, this morning, this night, wherever you are, what time you're watching this. That guess what? It's not over yet. You're still
Yeah.
breathing. So keep on moving, right?
Mm.
Yes, it's tough. The bank accounts have shut down. The phone calls have stopped. The career seems to port. Your health is beating you down. Keep on
Yeah.
moving, right? Your friends have left you. Your wife just walked out on you. Your husband turned his
Mm.
back on you. Keep on
Mm.
moving.
Mm.
The business deal that you thought was gonna make you the multimillionaire you want has just gone south, completely fallen apart. Keep on moving. The car
Mm.
has broken down. Keep on moving. I
Keep on
don't have
moving.
money for rent, no money for school fees. Keep on
Mm.
moving.
Keep on
Whatever
moving.
comes your way, I'm talking to you. You can hear me
Mm.
and I can hear you.
Mm.
Keep on moving.
Mm.
That's a word for someone. Just keep on moving forward. Don't move backwards. Keep on moving forward. Even
Moving
when you have to
forward.
stand still for a while and figure out what you want to do next, keep on moving.
Keep on moving.
Keep on moving because God is
Keep
on your
on moving.
side. Oluwade your side, Baba.
Sure. Sure.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, and keep on moving. You almost captured me. You hypnotized me at some point. At some point I was just carried away. I felt like an audience. You know, and just wanted to sit back and keep listening to you because you were making so much sense. And you started off with your daughter getting into school and all that, and you looking back, and then ended up with keep on moving. You dived into what I had wanted to, talk to you about. I'm not trying to digress, but when you talked about your daughter entering into school,
Right.
and you look back and you remember. So I discovered that you see this thing about life, maturity, fatherhood, it's something that you continue to grow on daily basis. You never see the
I know
other.
you're growing.
Yeah, yes, yes, I'm growing. But surprisingly,
how is your daughter then?
she's getting to trade.
Keep on moving, bro.
Yeah, keep on moving. So I discovered that what you just recorded is another level of growth
Yes.
that you've not been in before. And then it pointed you to somebody who took you through that process some time ago.
Right.
Now, what made that came into my mind was I remembered at some point when my dad was alive that I told you of that I called him and I had to apologize. And what prompted that was I was looking at myself, now that I'm on my own, no wife, no baby, the responsibility was just to take care of myself. What I was earning was more than what my dad was earning in those days, but yet it was not enough for me to take care of myself. Do you get? And I had to call him to say, Dad, I'm sorry to have, made you guys pass through this. Now, this is what I'm discovering. You get? Now, you
Johnny.
remember your days. I believe now you'll be remembering your days in school, what how it was to say, I guess I owe my dad an apology again.
Yeah.
So it just continue to uncover, and open her eyes to see, oh goodness. Looking at my daughter now, I can imagine what it was for my parents back then,
Right.
because now I'm a father,
And
you
and
know.
and it's
And
just
so
and it's just one child you have. Can you imagine how your
just
parents
one,
have
just
five
one. They had six,
or six? There you go. There
six,
you there you go.
six, and both were civil servants.
Okay.
Now both of them put their salaries together as then. I don't think it's up to what myself and my wife earn.
Wow.
But yet they were able to see us too, all of us through the university.
Wow.
But that was amazing.
No, no,
So that
that,
tells me now to keep on moving. If they were able to continue to move, then
yeah.
to keep on moving, I buy into that word.
Yeah, I agree
Interesting.
with you. I mean, obviously things have changed all over the world, and the economy is not the same as how it was back then, especially where you live in Lagos, Nigeria. I know there's a lot of craziness going on there, but it's going to get better. I am one of those few guys who believe one way or the other it has to get better, whether it's through an uprising or anarchy, or whether it's through a peaceful transition, or whether it's just divine intervention. Something's going to happen
Yes,
really pick up
definitely.
for people to wake up in that part of the world and realize that they can't continue like this. Obi man, this is Broken Not Shattered. We're gonna quickly take a break and then we come back and we'll go into today's topic on what we have figured out after we just did a quick survey. I'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome to Broken Not Shattered. This is your host, Ike O, and my boy OBG is in the house. Obi and I were just talking a few minutes ago about life and asking folks to move forward. But the main topic we want to talk about today is suicide. So Obi went around asking a few people as they were just hanging out with his buddies, right, Obi? And they were talking about
Sure.
the pressure of life in the part of the world where he lives in Africa. And the suicide rate has gone up in that part of the world recently, um, among especially young people and professionals. And Obi started asking whether suicide was an option. You take it from there, bro.
Yeah. So I decided to draw a random sampling. Ask few friends, open just casual conversation with them, and like, can we just have this conversation? At what point would you consider suicide to be an option? But surprisingly, um, 4 out of 5 all said suicide never the option. You know, and I tried to move around why suicide never the option, and some gave their reasons why suicide should not be an option. Why we should either find another approach to it. Now, just like you said, I always wanted us to have this conversation with just an open mind, not speaking as professionals, but as concerned individuals that would want to add our voice to see how we can, cut down on this rate of suicide. You know, it could be likened to, creating awareness, which is what we stand for, uh, based on the little knowledge we have, to say, okay, this is what we're offering. Can I know when someone is sick? I would not prescribe the medicine for you, but I can point you to a physician, or I can prefer an advice, or I can provide an advice that will direct you to a professional that can be of help,
Mhm.
or to make you at least understand the situation, so it can at least calm you, then you can move ahead for a professional advice or whatever. But this is just to create an awareness, to make you understand that either this is this, or you be conscious of yourself first, or understand people around you in your environment. It's okay, what is my contribution? If I am not the one in that situation, are there symptoms that I can see to show that suggest this person might be in this condition? Now, case in point, in some part of the world, neighbors can notice what is happening within the neighborhood and then alert the police just to be of help. In that way, we might save lives. So trying to create that social consciousness, you know, so that people around us will get to understand. And this was what prompted my sampling this opinion. And while I was sampling this opinion, the comment one of them made pointed me to this. And he said, "We can." And I said, "In what way can we help?" And he gave me an instance to say just the same as when we see people sick, we can tell they are sick for some who know. So can we look within our environment, be conscious of how people behave, and then based on observation, point out some things that point to that direction and say, okay, this is what this. I could remember some time ago. You remember
Okay,
we've had conversations.
let me chime in, Obi, for the sake of time. Let me
Okay,
chime in, right? I think I have an idea of what you're trying to say. I'm not trying to run you over. I just want to chime in. You see, first
I,
of all,
I, I get that.
this topic, right, is a very sensitive topic, right? And I
Yeah,
say
yeah,
I'm all for creating awareness, but I'm also very careful when it comes to anything to do with mental health, right? And the
yeah,
reason why I'm very
yeah.
careful, for the last 2 years, I found myself working in that arena when I had left Nigeria and came down to back to the United States, just about when COVID was really on, and I began to understand more and more about this whole um, issue, that it is a challenge, right? Um,
Yeah.
the thing is, first is it, let's just try and educate the basics, right? There is a
Okay.
in mental health, in the sense of your mental health, the well-being of your state of mind, right? And
Okay.
mental illness,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
there is a difference between being out of shape, right? Or not
Yes.
being physically fit, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
someone who is ill, like you're physically enabled, right? Or no,
Okay.
you're physically disabled, right? There's
Yeah.
a handicap of some sort, or you're sick, or you're physically not capable of carrying out your daily routines or your functions, right? They're two different
Mm-hmm.
things, right? Um,
Yeah.
if you are stressed out and someone says to you, "Oh, go and do a yoga class, or find a way to carry out a breathing exercise
Mm-hmm.
to reduce stress," those are things that one can do to um, address your mental state, your mental well-being, to calm the body down, to deal with the pressures and stress of life, and you can move on with that. But
Okay.
if you're mentally ill and you're going through um, uh, bouts of clinical depression, or you find yourself going and having some kind of schizophrenia, right? At
Okay.
that particular time, it is not something that someone can observe or not observe. It is something that when you
Yes.
start seeing the traits, because there are certain traits around them, and these are medical
Yes.
traits, right? You go to
Yes.
see a professional in that
Yes.
space. Yeah, your
Yes.
psychiatrist, for instance.
Yes.
If you're going through bouts of depression and you need some kind of therapy, or you due to some traumatic experience you've gone through, it's okay to
Mm-hmm.
find help. My message to anyone who's going through anything like this is, it's okay not to be okay. I'll say
Yeah.
that again. It is okay
It's
not
okay
to be okay.
not to be
Because when
okay.
you are not okay, seek help, right? So the guy who's saying suicide is not an option for him, kudos to him, right? Kudos to him,
Yeah.
because he has the will to overcome whatever he's dealing with, whether it's shame, whether it's sickness, whether it's finance, whether it's a broken relationship, whatever it is that can drive someone to the place of hopelessness. Because remember, most of the time, when people commit suicide, whether old or young, and I said most of the time very carefully because I'm not a professional on this, it is believed that the person has come to a place of hopelessness where they feel that
Yeah.
there is no more way out of this matter. The conclusion is I have to check out of this environment. And so
I agree.
they take that as their action of exiting the problem or exiting the situation, right? So
I agree
because
with you.
I can't face it any longer. They're in a state of hopelessness, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I keep on reminding people is don't forget that whatever it is that you went through, for the most part, has happened. If you lost your money, it has happened.
It has happened. Yes.
Now the question is, where do I go from here? Right?
Yeah.
If you've gone through some traumatic experience, it has happened. How do I now navigate that trauma and get the help that I need? That is when clearly I agree with your friend that says suicide is not an option. But for someone who is weak and doesn't have the right support system, they believe that suicide is an option. And we are saying suicide does not have to be the option. Is it an option? Some people might say, yes, it is. We are saying on this platform, it doesn't have to be an option. Because once you terminate it, there's no coming back. You don't press stop and then you release the button and say, pause, press it, and it plays again. Once you've taken out that action to take out your life, whoever you are, you can't come back. You can't come back because you're in a state of hopelessness. And so what we are saying on this platform is just find someone to talk to. Share it with someone. Share it with your family. Share it with a friend. There's nothing new under this earth. Nothing under the sun. There's nothing new, right? Whatever you're going through, somebody else has gone through it and has been able to overcome. And so our prayer is that when that spirit, and I call it a spirit because suicide is a spirit. When that spirit of suicide comes to you, you know you can't do this. You know you can't make this happen. I have come close to it. I told you my story, right? When I went through my divorce, and I felt like everything I stood for has crumbled in front of me. The entire thing. And I was driving. That was almost 10 something years ago. And I was thinking that, okay, let me just check out. Right? Let me just check out. Let me just run this car off the cliff and end this whole thing. This pressure is just too much. But I heard a voice that said, call your brother. So I called my older brother and he came on the phone and I was crying and telling him what I was going through and how the pressure and the attacks was just too much on me and I just couldn't take it. And my brother said to me, why would you want to take that option? For what and for whom? I've shared this story on the platform before. He said to me, for what and for whom? For what reason would you think that you have to end it? And for whom? Who is she that you want to take yourself out of this picture? Because of what? How about those of us here who love you and care about you? It's almost like saying to me, you're about to take a selfish decision. You're thinking only about yourself. How about your children? How about your parents? How about your friends? How about your loved ones? How about your church members? How about the people that really and genuinely care about you?
Yeah.
And so on that platform, suicide is not an option. So he said.
We
agree that suicide should not be the option. Seek help because it's okay not to be okay. What will be your thoughts on what I just said?
So you said it all. You see, you got just what me I'm saying. Now, you see, you have spoken for these two categories of individuals. Kudos to the ones who know. And I was saying for the ones who don't know, right, what they are passing through. And for the ones who know what people are passing through, maybe by the virtue of they have been there. How do we help those who do not know understand their situation and what they need?
Well,
I could remember I had a conversation. I could remember. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Like I said,
I could remember I had it. Interesting.
Okay, you go ahead. You talk. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Man, you talk. I'll
So
just.
I could remember,
Mhm.
I could remember that I had a conversation with you some time ago, and you said to me, Obi, you need to see a therapist, a psychiatrist. Remember, and you tried as much as you encouraged me to try take a step in that direction. And I even had to undertake some um, some what do you call it, um, some classes in that direction just to help myself. But initially, when you were saying it, I never knew. But I was just telling you what I was passing through. But you were able to understand. So there are people out there who don't know. So that's why somebody is saying it is not an option. It might not be an option if only you know that you can get help. So
There's
these
help
are some
out
of the
there. There is
yes.
help out there. Will be there's help. The only way I was able to observe, know what you were going through, because I was working at that time in my life with people in that I was working in the environment I was working with at that time. I had learned a lot about symptoms and crying spills, and the problem here is this, right? It's if someone has falls down and bumps their head, right? If
Mm-hmm.
someone falls down and bumps their head, you can see the lump on their forehead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you knew
Yep.
the person fell down and bumped his head. If someone
Mm-hmm.
has goes into an automobile crash and
Yeah.
breaks a limb and is now wearing a
Mm-hmm.
cast, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
mental health, man, you can't see mental health,
Okay.
right? So you
Okay.
have to be very you have to watch the person. If the person was very extroverted and they're all out and going, and all of a sudden something happens to them and they're very withdrawn, they're very quiet, they don't want to come out. You're seeing changes in patterns of behavior, and the patterns have to be very drastic patterns that you can see something is not right here. Those are the way. That's the way. Or in communication or talking to the person says, "I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of this. I'm just fed up. I need to check out of this place." Don't take it for granted. Oh, you're just joking. Go and get a drink and come back.
Exactly.
But the problem is it's the environment. You have to be sensitive to it. In an environment like where you guys live in Lagos, that is just 100% or 200% under stress at every given time. If somebody says,
Yeah. Sure.
I'm tired of this thing, you think it's a joke. But because there's an awareness of all these issues over here in the Western world where we live in the US, the chances are people will take it a little bit more serious. And gradually we're taking away the stigma and the shame of mental health
Mm-hmm.
and mental illness
Yeah.
by creating more and more awareness. You see people, superstars, taking their own life, people in the top of their
Mm.
game, athletes, taking
Mm.
their own life. Why? Because they had so much going on, the pressure of life, and they felt like, you know what, I can't do this anymore.
I
And
can
so
handle this.
that's why you and I have to be, first of all, sensitive,
Yes.
spiritually and emotionally sensitive to what people are going through. People are going through a lot. There are friends in your circle that are going through, even people that you and I talk to on a regular basis that we don't even know they're going through,
Yes.
right? And then everybody's focused on their own problem, forgetting that other people around them have other problems. I'm saying let's spread the love around, spread the love around, and
Around.
let people
Have you
around you
spoken?
know that someone truly and honestly cares.
Have
Because
you spoken to someone and this person says to you, "I'm depressed"?
but people say that
Has
all the
somebody
time.
ever said that?
People say that all the time.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm
And
saying.
sometimes we don't take them serious.
Exactly.
Because
So,
sometimes they don't know. They just feel they are depressed. But they don't know that this is a sign of something dangerous that might happen if it
okay,
continues to
I,
accumulate.
I might be wrong here. So I'm going to take my chances.
Okay?
I trust to my friends who are either psychiatrists or psychologists or therapists who always reach out to me. There is a difference between I'm depressed and someone suffering from depression.
Okay, I'll get to that too. Don't
Yeah?
worry.
There's a difference
Hmm.
between I'm depressed and someone
Yes.
suffering from depression. because we all go through bouts of life where you might feel a little depressed, and then you're able to get yourself out of that state of mind. Remember, it's a state of mind. But when
I agree with you.
When you go for a longer period of time in that state of mind, then it becomes a state of depression. And to get out of it, you would need clinical help.
Okay, you've just made the point. But this is what I am saying. You don't tell me I feel headache, and I'll tell you, watch the headache for 2 days before you know if it is malaria-induced headache or stress-induced headache. I'll simply say to you, it's a symptom. You need this. Then let the psychiatrist say, this is what this kind of depression is.
I disagree.
But at that point,
I disagree with you. That's why I told you this is where I completely disagree with you. If someone has a headache, right? You can't say to the person, you can't say to the person. I know that's what you guys do back there. You say, "Oh, go and take Panadol."
No. That's not it. You didn't get what I'm saying. You didn't get what I'm saying. I'm saying someone cannot say to you, "I have headache," and you say, "Watch the headache for a little while. I know if it's malaria induced or stress induced." It will tell you.
But sometimes someone can say, "I have a headache." Go and rest.
And I'm saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's wrong.
Okay, so what do you tell
I am saying, for me,
what is the right thing then, in your opinion? Now, again, this is your
for
opinion.
me,
Absolutely, 100% disclaimer on this platform. You are not a physician. So what would you tell the person?
Yeah, sure. So no, I will not self-prescribe for you. I will point you to a physician. See a doctor, and let the doctor tell you what to do. Are you going to go to test? Or from your explanation, what possibly that might be? Because I'm not a professional.
No,
but I say something.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Every time somebody has a headache, you tell them go see a doctor.
See, how many times will someone come to you to tell you I have headache before you say go see a doctor? I don't want to give you the wrong advice. I don't want to take chances. I am speaking to you how I see it for myself. There are symptoms I notice. I can easily walk into a pharmacy or clinic and say, "I feel this. Give me this." But
that's you self-diagnosing yourself, and you could be wrong. And that's what happens. That's what happens where you are. People are always self-diagnosing themselves. I remember a story. A man who had some serious back pain, major back pain, right? And they were telling him, you have arthritis. And they were pumping him with arthritis drugs, but he didn't have arthritis, right? What he had was prostate cancer, right? And he didn't know that the thing was spreading around, and he just thought it was just going through the regular pain on his back. Yes, he was in his 60s and 70s at that time. He was an older man, but he just said, "Oh, you're getting older."
He's associated with old age.
So the symptom of a disease can show up in different forms. A headache can mean just you being stressed and tired. A headache can come from you being dehydrated and needs water, right? Water can solve that problem of a headache. The same way too, you can have a headache and it could be high blood pressure, right? And if you continue headache, you collapse and die, right? So again, you have to find out where to say to the person, "Hey, go and find help. Seek help. Right? If someone says to you, "I'm depressed," and you say, "Okay, talk to me. What's going on?" And they talk to you, that could be talk therapy, right? Just listening to someone talk. If you see that talk therapy has helped them, and you can have that therapy with your wife, you can have that therapy with me, you can have that therapy with a friend. It's called talk therapy. Just talk, right? Listen to them. No judgment. You hear them out. At the end of the day, if they feel better after that and you have the time for them, that's fine. But if the person comes to you again and again, and by the time they finish talking to you, they've zapped all your energy. You know that this is bigger than just talk therapy. You would tell the person, "I think you might need to find time to go and see a therapist." Or you And then the therapist now says to them, hey, maybe there's some things that are going on in you that you might want to go and see a psychiatrist. And it's okay not to be.
It's okay.
That's my point, Obi. That's my point. So for your guy who said suicide is not an option, kudos to him. I'm saying suicide should not be the option.
And I agree with you.
Because it's okay not to be okay. My boy,
I want to be okay.
Go, man. I know our audience are wondering what's going on with these two guys today.
What's good?
On the same level, you know, because that's one thing about life, man. It's the same thing, but you're seeing it from different perspective. If you look at the number 6 from where you're sitting, you see a 9. I sit down here, bro. I see 6. You see 9. I see 6. It's still the same number. It's just from where you're sitting, the perspective may be better. But to get the right answer, we bring in a mathematician who will now tell us, oh, it's a 6, not a 9.
I like that. I like that.
Man. We gotta go, bro. It's always a joy catching up with you and talking to you. For all our audience out there, please find help if you're going through any form of mental illness, or if you're actually going through depression. It's okay, honestly, not to be okay. All right, but we pray that you become okay. It is God's will that you are made completely whole in every sense of the word. And Obi and I are strong in our belief and our faith, and we want to join hands with you just to say that the Lord is on your side, and just believe it is not over until God says it's over. Trust me, you will bounce back. All right, my boy. In our famous 3 words, you take it.
Peace, joy, and
more grace. Take care of yourself, my man. I'll see you.